what role Nevada played in the 2024 election. And joining us with his take on that is John Ralston, CEO and editor of the Nevada Independent. John, you have long called Nevada the We Matter state. It is a hashtag that you have used on X a long time now. However, you recently used the hashtag We Didn't Matter. Why didn't we matter?
The race was over before Nevada's votes were counted. The so-called blue wall, Amber, that the Democrats had fall in 2016 when Trump won, fell again, and this time pretty decisively. That is Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Once Trump had those, Nevada's votes didn't matter, which is very sad, I guess, for the We Matter hashtag. I have to maybe permanently retire it.
I got so excited here, I almost knocked over my glass. So did Nevada matter any more or any less than the other swing states?
I think we didn't matter because, as I said, the race was over before our votes were counted, but we mattered in the sense that I think we were a reflection of what went on across the country, which was that the Democrats did not come out and vote for Democrats. That happened in the blue wall states, that happened in other states that the Democrats needed to win because Latinos did not come out and Latino Democrats did not come out and vote for Kamala Harris. You had Latino men, exit polls, Amber, this is incredible, 2-1 in favor of Trump. You've never seen anything like that. Young voters went more for Trump than people thought. And Asian voters, which have been a reliable Democratic constituency, both here and elsewhere, also barely went for Trump in some exit polls. Now, they're not totally reliable, but what you had is crossover voting going the other way than people thought. A lot of people thought that Republican moderates would vote for Kamala Harris because of the issue of abortion and some other issues. That appears not to have happened in great enough numbers.
Okay, so this is the first time in 20 years that a Republican has won the presidency in the state of Nevada. How do you think Trump did this? Or was it more of what Kamala Harris did not do?
Listen, she came into the race late, right? And Trump ran an absolutely brutal negative campaign against her, not just tying her to the Biden administration, which is manifestly unpopular, but also to some of her past positions and portraying her as a far left person, of course, calling her the buzzword communist. And so I think that hurt her. But he also, he benefited from people not responding to the campaign of he's a threat to democracy, he's unqualified for the presidency, and more to the things that were right in front of them, I think, Amber. And there's not enough data out to back this up, but there's some. People care more about the economy. They care more that it costs them more to go get groceries. And they played on fear of illegal immigration. And even though we're not a border state, you know, that's been a big issue here in other campaigns because we have a relatively large population of undocumented immigrants in the workforce here. And I think that was more important to people than focusing on the character issue between Trump and Kamala Harris.
Why do you think that, unlike so many presidential elections before in which you have picked correctly for the state of Nevada, you got it wrong this time?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Kamala Harris.
What did you say? So I did get it wrong, and I've been very public about why I picked Kamala Harris. I thought, even though the Republicans had very good turnout in the early voting period, the so-called Reid machine, the Democratic machine, I thought they had banked enough votes to get their people out, and she would just eke out a victory. I went back and forth on this at home, thinking about who I was going to pick. But here's what I think happened, Amber, and this is really something else. I totally misread what would happen in Clark County, where we're sitting right now, where most of the votes are. The Reid machine got those votes out, but guess what? They didn't vote for her. They voted for Trump. I mentioned some of these constituencies. The culinary union getting out a lot of Latino workers. Did the whole no taxes on tips pander, pull some of the service workers away. But Donald Trump is going to end up, not all the votes are counted, but Donald Trump is going to lose Clark County by only 2 or 3 points. Just for context, Joe Biden won by 9 points. Hillary Clinton won by more than 10. And Barack Obama, when he won the state back in the old days when I got things right, won by double digits and by almost double digits. So something has changed here. Remember, Joe Lombardo, who was a Republican governor, he changed the dynamic in Clark County in 2022 and ended up not losing by as much as for instance, Adam Laxalt did to Catherine Cortez Masto. So something's going on in Clark County. One other thing, Amber, the great number of nonpartisan voters that are in Nevada now, I think a lot of people, including myself, by the way, thought that they would lean towards Harris. They did not. And these were what, again, the Democrats thought were Democrats hiding as nonpartisans that they could then turn out. The exit polling shows that Trump won nonpartisans in this state by about 2 points. I don't know if that's right or not, but it sounds right.
As we speak, it is Thursday evening, 2 days after the election, and the Associated Press has yet to call Trump as the winner of Nevada, has yet to call Rosen the winner of Nevada, but the Nevada Independent has called that. So once again, a split ticket in Nevada. What's different this time around? And then also, what do you think? How does Nevada change this so that this state is not one of the last to have its election results?
Well, there's a lot of questions there. The last one is the more difficult one. So what happened, the split ticket, you know, in 2022, you're right, it was the same thing. Catherine Cortez Masto, the Democrat, wins, and you had Joe Lombardo win for governor, and this time Trump is going to win, and Rosen. Listen, there's a huge drop-off this time. There's a difference. Sam Brown had some problems getting the base to love him, so he really hugged Trump the last few weeks, but only Trump can do that. Only Trump can do the whole MAGA thing and make it believable. Sam Brown couldn't. There's a huge drop-off. There's a huge vote in that race for none of the above, which is this unique kind of crazy only Nevada thing. 30,000 plus Nevadans voted none of the above rather than voting for Sam Brown or Jackie Rosen. He is going to lose by fewer than 30,000 votes. So those people, I think a lot of those are people who voted for Trump but didn't want to vote for Sam Brown.
Real quickly, before you answer the question about how we solve this in Nevada, I want to mention that Nevada's U.S. House races, all of the incumbents won. And then you also called the mayoral race in Las Vegas for Shelley Berkeley, the former U.S. representative. Okay, back to how do we get these election results enough so that outlets like the Associated Press feel comfortable enough to call them, and it's not just the Nevada Independent.
Right, exactly. Not that that's a bad thing.
No, you've got to hold on this market, John.
So, this is a difficult question because Republicans have complained that sending out mail ballots to everybody, then it's ripe for voter fraud, and it takes too long because you can count for up to 4 days afterwards, and so we won't know the final results. Not only not on Saturday, which is but then you can do curing of ballots. In other words, if your signature's been rejected, you can go into the next week. So it plays into people who are causing mischief by crying voter fraud. Why are these ballots suddenly coming in and suddenly Jackie Rosen is ahead of Sam Brown? There must be fraud. I wish more people would speak out about it, but I wish more that everything could be done by election night. And I think you could set different deadlines for when mail ballots have to be in, and that all the votes have to be counted on election day. Give them the staff, which they don't have enough staff, not just in Clark County, but in rural Nevada and in Washoe County, and because whether we think it's good or not, too many people believe that something hinky is going on. And so because you have that, you've got to put some guardrails up. I think changing those deadlines, I think putting more rules on so-called ballot harvesting, which allows groups to go bring in hundreds or thousands of ballots on election day so they almost have no chance to count them. And again, people think could open the door to fraud. I think you've got to change the rules. Like, if your family, if you want to bring your husband's ballot, that's fine. But you can't go and walk down your street and start collecting ballots. I think that creates a lack of faith in the system. It shouldn't exist, but now it's there, and so we have to do something about it.
Can we squeeze this in? So one idea for this issue with the signature verification is perhaps voter ID, right? That ballot question 7, did pass. It has to pass again next election. Any other takeaways on the ballot questions? Question 3 did not pass for open primaries and ranked choice voting. What stands out to you?
Voter ID is hugely popular. It was obviously going to pass. I don't think it's a black and white issue because I think Republicans want that not because they're worried about fraud, fraud, but because they know that there are a lot of minority voters who do not have IDs and therefore won't be able to vote, and those are Democratic voters. And the same, there's partisan considerations on both sides. The big surprise of the election, I think, here, and this was a really big surprise, is how crushed question 3, which was ranked choice voting and open primaries, which seemed like if there's all these nonpartisans, they're going to want to shake up the system. And they spent $12 million or so trying to get that passed, and the opponents spent about 1/5 or 1/6 of that. But I just think people, while they want a disruptor, if you will, like Donald Trump, they don't want to disrupt the system entirely, so they don't understand it.
John Ralston, you are going to get them all right next election.
I am? You
yes.
sure?
Yep.
Thank
and
you for your confidence.
We're going to have you back on.
All
I mean,
right.
but you only missed one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.